Hey guys, Dan Greer, and today we're going to go over how to do an inspection on like a pickup for the CDL test, because a lot of times whenever you come into test, I've seen guys, they don't test in a tractor trailer, right? They tested a pickup pulling a gooseneck or maybe something like that to try to just get their CDL and get that Class A, but they're going to have an O restriction. So anyways, let's just flip the camera around and we'll go over the front of the vehicle on a pickup. All right, so here we are. We're just gonna go ahead and use my truck. We want to check them underneath it, make sure that it's level, make sure there's no leaks, there's no leans. Check our light lens condition, make sure that they're in good condition. They're not fogged, cracked, bent, broken, anything like that. We're gonna check them both, check all of them, the fog lights, check our license plate, make sure it's good. Look at the grill, look in the grill at the radiator. After that, we'll go and open the hood. Sorry about that, guys. Getting a little close to it. All right. So next thing we're gonna do is go ahead and check the engine compartment. I like to always start with the air filter, check the air can, make sure that's good, check our batteries, both sides, make sure they're good, move our way around, check all of our hoses as we go through it. This is our dipstick. We're gonna go ahead and pull the engine oil out, wipe it off, push it back in, pull it back out, make sure that it's good and in the right spot. Here's our power steering fluid. We wanna check it, make sure it's full. And from there, then we go ahead and go on into the power steering pump, which is right down there. Make sure that the power steering pump's in good condition. There's no leaks, it's mounted secure. This pump is belt driven, it's right there. Okay, from there we go ahead and move our way back. We've got our hydraulic fluid for the brakes and the power booster behind it, so we want to check all those, make sure they're in good condition, we have plenty of fluid, and that the power booster is mounted secure, all the hoses are tight. From there we kind of just take a step back. We got our fuse box, we're going to check that. Windshield wiper fluid, check that. Over there on the far side, you can see it right there, is our coolant. We go ahead and look in that and make sure that it's in good condition, and make sure it's not cracked, that it is full. Get in there and look at it. Okay, so we can see that it's good. Check all of our hoses, all that good stuff from around it, make sure it's good. Check our fan shroud, our fan, make sure our engine oil fill cap is on tight, and go ahead and move on in to the brakes and the steering axle. So as we come in here, I'm actually going to sneak down here and lay down so you guys can see this. Oh, I'm going to get dirty. This sucks. All right, so now that we're underneath here, we're going to look at our suspension. From down here, we're going to check our suspension right here. Make sure that it's mounted secure to there. The bolts are tight on that coil spring. If you have leaf springs, you want to make sure that the leaf springs are tight. They're not scissored on this coil. You want to make sure there's no cracks, breaks, welds. Check all of our steering linkage. The sway bar, the steering linkage is right there. Make sure it's mounted secure. Everything's in place. The bolts are tight, well lubricated. Check this tie rod end as well. And then from here, we kind of go in and check our wheel. I want to make sure that our well, let's check our wheel from the outside. All right, we'll move on up here and check the top part of our spring. Make sure our spring is mounted and secure. Check the coil spring, make sure it's good. Go ahead and move on to the shock. Make sure the shock absorber is mounted secure. There's no leaks in it. It is fluid filled, so we'll make sure there's no oil coming out of it. Check our tire. We're gonna look for tread depth, 4/32. Make sure that it's nice and tight. It's in good condition. There's no cracks, bends, breaks, abrasions, bulges. You can't see any of that on it. So we move our way out to the rim. I'm gonna move back a little bit. As we get to the rim, we're checking the rim, looking for just welds, cracks, bends, breaks, anything like that. Check all of our lug nuts, make sure that they're tight. Check the axle fluid seal, make sure there's no leaks coming out of it. Then we'll move our way in. See if I can get in here, get a good enough picture of this. Hold on. Hey, look at that, we can get in there and see it. So that's our rotor we're looking at right there for the brakes. These are rotor and pads for brakes. So we want to check the pads, make sure they're in good condition. Check the rotors, make sure that they're not warped, no cracks. The pads aren't worn dangerously thin. There's no cracks in the pads. And as we move out, right down here is where we check the air pressure in them. Man, let's just keep going. Why not, right? So the next thing we're gonna do is go ahead and check our mirror. Make sure our mirror's mounted and secure. Check the glass in our mirror. Make sure it looks good. Go ahead and check our door. It's mounted and secure when we open it. Weather stripping is in place. Door opens and closes, it's not loose. From there we go ahead and move our way back. We got the fuel cap here. So on some of these pickups, they don't have fuel caps. You don't necessarily have to check the cap to make sure that's sealed, but I like to check that that's there, make sure the lid is on the depth. And then I go straight down from there. See that guy right there, that black thing? That's our fuel tank. Want to make sure it's mounted secure, it's not leaking. And then from there we also go underneath here. We'll check the drive shaft, that long thing there. Make sure it's in good condition. And then we'll go around to the other side here in just a minute and check the exhaust. What we're looking for on our drive shaft is mounted secure, no cracks, bends, breaks. We can also check the frame, make sure the frame's in good condition. No cracks, bends, breaks, welds, anything like that. On this back axle, it's just kind of a weird back axle. It's not really weird, but it's a pickup back axle. Get in here and see if we can see it. There's a spring on it. So see that spring? Okay. This truck also has airbags. You can see the airbags right there. So on the spring, it's a coil spring. We want to make sure it's mounted secure, no cracks, bends, breaks. It's mounted at the top, it's mounted at the axle. Everything's good in it. There's no welds on the spring. Check our shock, make sure our shock absorber is in good condition. Mounted at the top as well as the bottom. It's not leaking any oil. This one, like we said, had air brakes. Oh, I gotta get back in here. Air brakes, airbags. Want to check these bags, make sure they're mounted secure, no leaks, the air lines are good to them. This truck has an external compressor. Some trucks don't have that, just depends on what you've got going on with your truck. Like a lot of them don't have airbags yet today. Tire, check the tread depth, minimum of 2/32 on the tread depth. Check the condition of the tire, make sure that it's no abrasions, bulges, or cuts. Check the rim, make sure the rim has no welds, cracks, bends, breaks. Check the lug nuts, make sure they're tight. Check the axle hub oil, make sure it's not leaking. And then go in and check our brakes the exact same way we check the front. Checking the rotors to make sure they're not worn, dangerous. Checking the rotors to make sure they don't have any heat damage, there's no bluing to them, they're not worn out. And then checking the pads to make sure they're not worn dangerously thin. There is some pad left on it. And then this truck, because it's a pickup, does not have mud flaps, but it could. Had mud flaps, we checked those. Now, as we move our way around to the back, we got the tailgate open, so we want to make sure the tailgate opens and closes either way. And then if we were pulling a trailer, we'd go in and inspect all the receiver or the gooseneck as we go around. But I did want to take just a second here, check out this exhaust on the other side. It is unique to the other side. So we want to check the exhaust, make sure there's no leaks, cracks, spins, breaks, anything like that could be dangerous. And then that's about it for the side of the truck, guys. All right. Hope you guys have a great day. Hope you learned a lot. It was super short and sweet. It's pretty much everything you need to do on an inspection. Elaborate a little bit more on it. 2 things to remember for every inspection. Anything that's rubber, okay? Anything that is not metal, rubber or plastic, is ABCs, abrasions, bulges, or cuts, and it's mounted in secure. Second one is anything that's metal, rims, frame, springs, stuff like that, torsion bars, that is going to be BBCs, breaks, bends, or cracks. So again, anything rubber, ABCs, abrasions, bulges, cuts, like tires, hoses, anything metal, BBCs, breaks, bends, or cracks. And that's it. And then make sure you say that everything's bound secure whenever you're doing your inspection for the test. And whenever you're doing your inspection for real life, get in there and grab that stuff. Make sure that it's good. All right, guys, hope you have a great day. We'll talk to you later.